Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transporttrainsolutions.com on a Tuesday, 24 June. Uh, we've got the NASDAQ bumping up against all-time highs, the NASDAQ 100, that is. Let me go ahead and share the charts with everybody, and also want to remind everybody that I have a class coming up on Thursday, 11 Pacific, about range trading, which we're just barely breaking out. So starting off with the most important market, obviously, that's driving a lot of this is oil, and oil basically coming off sharply. I did write about this over the weekend, so if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, I talked about fading and not being caught up in any of that, emotion that came in. So if you take a look at the chart, incidentally, from um, this weekend, uh, and kind of pull back the lens. We essentially, I honestly, I was expecting maybe 80 would be the top. But overall, if you kind of just peel the lens back here and really take a long-term view, we essentially are right at the top end of this massive range. And then this leads us to now have a potential of getting back to a cent about this low 60s is going to be the bottom part of this range, save all this mess up here. So we were in this big old range here. Remember, we were 55 to 64. We broke out hard, and now we're going to revert back to that. So this is going to be an interesting situation coming up here in the next few days with oil. The NASDAQ is, depending on the style of chart that you're using, I'm actually more inclined to look at the Qs because that takes all the distortion out of the futures, the rollover gaps and all that kind of stuff. So we're right up against highs. The highs are basically right there, 541.28. If you take a look at the 541.24 is the all-time high in the NASDAQ 100 right there, the intraday high anyways. So we're basically right there, close to it anyways. Question becomes, what we do? Not last time we made a new high, it was right there. And you saw what happened there. We also made a new high here and we pulled back, and so on and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see, anytime we make these all-time highs, this high right there, if you go back, we also had a pull back off of that. So that's going to be the setup for see if that sets up again this time around after this massive run up there. And similarly, the S&P, it's got up until about 62, 70. All other markets, looks like dollar's going to be breaking down. It's attempted a couple times to break down, still holds 98. But I think likely going to break. Now, if it's a false break, that's a whole different situation. Also markets I've been looking at, like platinum, that's been peaking at 1350. Let's see if that actually breaks out to multi-year highs. Nat gas looks like it's headed back down into the 350 area. And some of the grain markets that I've been commenting on, at very key levels here, it looks like if it breaks 540, we're headed back down to $5 a bushel. So, we've got core PCE on Friday. Maybe that moves interest rates. Also, lastly, interest rates are on the cusp of breaking down. Also, 428, you can see we're right on the lows. If we break 428, 430, which we're sitting right there right now, I think there's a shot we go down into the maybe even down into these areas down in here. So this is another market that's kind of on the cusp of breaking down. So we'll see what happens. Again, sign up for the newsletter, join me for the class, click the link below. And we got core PCE on Friday, and maybe that moves the markets. And of course, that whole situation in the Middle East, that's still not over. The ceasefire was kind of a little fragile to, one accusing, Israel accusing Iran and so on and so forth. So that still could be a wild card. I don't think it's totally over. Uh, and so, interesting situation developing. So keep that in mind when you're trading. Have a great day, and we'll see you on Friday. Take care.